take away his name. Everybody
Yeah.
loves his name.
Yeah, we can't use his nickname
We can't
anymore.
use it
I'm not even going to say
anymore.
it. I'm not going to say it. I
Right.
don't want to hear it when I get home.
Okay, so we'll just excuse that for today. But you know, as throughout the year, if you feel free to give him a name, please call in. Yes, let's give a contest out there for another name for the
Sir John.
Sir John. The okay, all right. So hey, it's a wonderful Sunday. You know, it's Cleveland. We got some sun. We got a wonderful guest here in the house.
Beautiful.
Yes, and welcome to our show, Darius Levant.
Thank you.
And yes, I had a wonderful opportunity to meet you on my job, my day job, one of the many things I do.
Absolutely.
Yes, and you just are doing some wonderful things here.
Yes.
So tell our audience all about you. Who is Darius?
Okay, so I've been through this a lot, so I got it down. I got it down packed now.
All right.
You know, everybody evolves into so many things, but you know, when you focus, you really know yourself. You know your purpose. You know your direction. So basically, I'm Darius Levant. I'm a personal trainer. I do bodyweight training. It's under the business of No Comfort Zone.
Okay.
And the reason why I called it No Comfort Zone is because you ever notice, like, whenever you comfortable, you kind of like put your life on pause and you just real content about everything going the way it's supposed to be. And the crazy thing about it is when you're comfortable, you're never really growing. So you gotta have contrast in your life in order to be able to know like what your divine purpose is, as opposed to what society says what your purpose is. You get it? So that's the reason why I call it No Comfort Zone. You know
Like
what I'm saying?
that,
You gotta
yes.
be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know? And so and I'm pretty sure people heard that phrase before, but it resonates more with me now more than ever because of all the stuff that I've been through and all the stuff that I'm currently going through, and then the stuff that may happen later. But each time you go through something,
Yes.
you learn how to be stronger and stronger to overcome the next thing. that comes.
Yes.
And that's something it's so great.
That's
You know, it's so
awesome.
great.
Because, you know, just to comment on that, talking about moving and being comfort and growing to the next level, I used to always say life was like rock teacher. You know, and I'm not probably telling my age, but when we were kids, we used to sit on the steps and play rock teacher. And if you got the right hand, you got to move up to the next step. And it's just like life is. If you keep repeating the same thing, you don't move.
Right.
But once you've overcome that, you get to move to the next phase.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I also do also have
What
another
is rock teacher?
Oh, see, I told you, I was probably telling my age, you don't know anything about rock teacher. We played rock teacher when we played jacks and things like that. Don't worry about it. I'll teach you about it one day.
Ancient Egyptian.
And
that's pretty cool.
see, that's why he got that name, okay? That's all right. Larry, we gonna hurry up and get him a name real soon. He don't know. You don't know nothing about rock teacher.
Besides your hands, you use a chisel.
Anyway, back to you, sir.
It's all good. I also have another business called Trestle Board LLC, and that's a business where I do videography and photography as well.
Okay.
Okay, so it's really about expression. You know, like capturing expression and emotions and everything. It's really artistic. It's more than just providing a product for somebody or a service. It's more about capturing who they are in that moment and what's being expressed. And it's really deep if you really think about it. You know, a lot of us don't really pay attention to what we express every day.
Right.
If you actually paid attention to it, you would kind of get more of a grasp on, okay, well, who am I as an individual? And it's always a great feeling when you know who you are. And you can say it in front of people without worrying about anybody thinking about you and how you look and what they say. It just matters to you, your own happiness. Absolutely.
And being comfortable and knowing who you are.
Absolutely.
And that's real deep because a lot of us, we just here in life, we're just going with the motions.
flow.
Yeah, and not really even giving much thought up because almost we're like programmed to get up and, you know, get yourself prepared for your day and move along your daily, you know, lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But then at the end of the day, it's just a routine.
You got it.
But then where are you really going? What are you really doing? And do you know your purpose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a story for y'all.
I want to hear, yes.
Because, you know, I like to practice what I preach.
Mm-hmm.
And 2018 was probably like one of the most hard years. I mean, probably like worse in my life. Not only because of what transpired, but because of the evolution that I had to go through.
Okay.
So when you talking about being uncomfortable, it was like beyond my comprehension of what uncomfortable is.
Okay,
So-
okay.
So the one particular story I'm gonna talk about is so I had an incident that happened in it was July 21st, 2018 or 22nd. It was at like 2:00 in the morning. Okay, so I was coming home from doing a videography job. It was a wedding that I did, and so basically I got into South Euclid, and I was at a light. I ended up making a right turn, and then basically I ended up parking because I had some equipment in my trunk, and of course some cops rolled up on me. Now I'm wearing all black. I drive a Charger. So obviously I fit the description of maybe a drug dealer or whatever. I popped the trunk. So think about it, so they rolled up on me.
Right.
And they told me to get back in the car. So I didn't think it was anything special, but the cop walked up on me. He said, you know what you did? I was like, yes. And he said, do you know what's going on? I said, yeah. I mean, I was driving and I parked and I opened my trunk and I was about to check to see if my equipment was in the trunk. And that was it. But basically, it escalated into him saying that I made a right turn on red. Did I see this sign? I said, I saw signs, but I didn't say specifically what sign he was saying that I saw.
Right.
But, I'm just going along with what he's saying because we're in a dark,
Area.
parking area. I'm wearing all black and I'm driving a Charger, so I'm, really worried about my life.
Right.
All right. And so, of course, he goes to the car to write the ticket or whatever, but now they got the dog. And there's 2 other cars that come up. So, me being a black man, me listening to stories and hearing stories about people being shot, it's a whole bunch of stuff going through my mind. Not to mention I'm stressed out.
Right.
Because I don't need another ticket to have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff is irritating, especially when your money is, set and you got to have it go towards other stuff.
Right.
And paying the ticket is taken away from that. Knowing you ain't...
Extra taxes.
Yeah, exactly. You're not hurting nobody. Knowing you're not destroying anything. Which is what a crime is, technically. But anyway, moving forward. So, of course, it escalates. He walks back, but he has the flashlight on me. I can't see. So, of course, I get scared. I kind of try to dive down into my car and just say, back up, don't approach the car. I was really scared. I didn't know what they was going to do. And so that situation escalated because I was stressed. The mistake that I made was... after they rolled off, after they threw the ticket at me and everything, because they saw how frantic and scared I was, they rolled off and then they drove into Giant Eagle and they sat there. So of course, after I got my mind together, I got angry. And typically, remember this: whenever you get mad, there's no logical thinking.
No.
You are a complete idiot when you get mad.
Right.
I don't know nobody who thinks straight when they're mad.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you are thinking straight when you're mad, then that means that you have some sort of control and you can make a logical decision even though you're upset.
Right.
When you really get angry, you get stupid. So remember that. All right?
Okay.
So basically, I got very stupid.
What did you do?
What I did was I drove all the way over to the parking lot where they was at. I was upset, and I just began to just yell and be mad and just say, why do you keep on messing with people like this? Why do you pull people over? Why do you create stress? I'm asking all these whys, and I'm just going through it. But now the crazy part about the situation was that I put myself in harm's way without even thinking about it. Because I aggressively went over there and I was yelling, I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm putting my life in danger because they could have shot me. Then.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it was out in the open. So, considering the circumstance and considering that I was aware that I was keeping my distance, but at the same time yelling at them, that's probably the reason why they didn't tase me and shoot me. Now, what made matters worse was my lady was called, my wife was called, her friend was there, and they both were trying to help me, and I was really embarrassing myself. All right? And so that situation happened in January. I finally went home. That situation happened July 21st, 2018. Moving forward, of course, it's a ticket. I went to fight it.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Did they arrest you?
No, they didn't.
Wow.
Because the ticket was for a right turn on red.
Okay.
That's what it was for.
Even after you went back and started
Even after I went back and
venting.
did all that.
Okay.
Yes, they did not arrest
You're-
me.
you're- Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. I was definitely blessed in that situation because it could have got way worse. So of course I went to the court and I fought the ticket for what it was for, which was a right turn on red.
Okay.
Okay. I got it all the way to the last trial, which is in October. So it's me, it's my wife in there, and we are literally in the courtroom, and it's all this stuff. We're going through all the facts and everything. So on the video, they're saying that I said that, yes, I made a right turn. Yes, I saw the sign. My argument was, did I hurt anybody? Did I destroy any property? And did I actually say that I made a right turn on red? And did I actually say it was at the spot where you're telling me that it's at?
Right.
None of that stuff was mentioned. But Judge Gail Williams Byers in South Euclid felt like all the evidence was factual beyond a reasonable doubt, and it couldn't be in question. And so, of course, she found me guilty. But the crazy part about the whole thing was that, of course, on the video they saw like how I was acting after I got the ticket.
Ticket. Oh.
And so I believe that they used that as a way to penalize me for the right turn on red. So of course on the document it say right turn on red, but I got sent to jail for 15 days. I had to do 6 months probation. Not only that, I had to pay for a right turn on red. Not only that,
Yeah, it was for the other thing.
It was really for
It was really
your the after effect of what you
Exactly.
did in Anchor.
Exactly, that's what it was for. And so my whole thing, reason why I was upset was because how can you send me to jail and do all that for a right turn on red, and it's very excessive, but
And not fine. Let me get paid a fine.
exactly. But that's the whole part about what I want to talk about today, which is sometimes we look at how situations turn out and we try to blame somebody else or we try to point the finger, right? Mm-hmm. In all actuality, we got to really think about what was it that I did to create or manifest what is going on in my life right now. And it's really a mature thing that you got to do to really look at yourself and be mature and just basically say, you know what, it was me, I caused this, I am the one who created this situation. It's not because of anybody else. And so because of that, moving forward, it was like, okay, literally that day when they sentenced me, I had to go to jail.
Don't hit the table.
Literally that day, my mistake. Literally that day when I had to go to jail,
Yes.
I was arrested right in front of my wife. And it was like the most demeaning thing ever. And you know, I was trying to maintain and not cry and nothing like that. And then also me and my wife was going through a lot of stuff anyway already, so that put a strain on the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So stuff was bad for me. So while I was in jail, you only have your thoughts. That's it. You can't go nowhere, can't do nothing. So what I did was I took the approach and I just said, you know what, it's time to evolve, it's time to change. So I had all this time, so I'm in there and I'm working out. And while I'm working out, you know, I'm thinking about every decision that I've ever made and what has manifested in my life. Now, I'm educated, I got 2 degrees, bachelor's, master's, you know what I'm saying? Didn't have my dad, but I did have an uncle who was willing to be there. I do got a relationship with my dad now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I have other mentors and everything. But even with having all of that on the outside, you still gotta like do for self. You still gotta understand what your purpose is.
Right.
And so the difficulty behind that is being able to go through that contrast, that conflict that you create on yourself, and being man or woman enough to say, I created this. Now how I'm gonna fix it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so literally in jail, people
That's
were
a good thought.
yeah, literally in jail, I was in there with like a whole bunch of people. People was coming in and out, right? And so it was crazy because when we was talking about why we was in there, everybody was looking at me like, you ain't here for a right turn on red? And I said, yeah. And everybody was in there for, you know,
Different
other
things.
stuff that was way more,
Start thinking like, what?
yeah.
Right.
And so when we got to talking, I ended up being a blessing to everybody actually because I got them to see a different perspective about their situations and to stop blaming somebody else, but look more at what they
They were
did
doing.
to get into that situation. And then what they gonna do now when they get out, you know? And it was amazing because literally right in front of me, I was watching these people, you know, these different guys come in and they would just talk to me and they would just get a different perspective on what they want to do. I mean, even the one young kid who even came in, he was 21 years old. I remember talking to him and he just was saying, man, yeah, I'm gonna switch up everything. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And we just talk because we just in there. That's all we got is time, right?
Right.
And so, and also I had the opportunity to be able to teach them how to work out, but use any type of, it's a stress reliever. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people work out because they want to get in shape, they want to look good, stuff like that.
Right.
But my approach to it is to use it to be able to develop and find out who you truly are. And the only way you can do that is you got to go through the struggle. So when you work out, you're struggling, right? You're sweating, you're breathing hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a struggle of believing in yourself that you can actually do the exercise that you're doing. This is all the stuff that's related to life.
Right.
So I took advantage of working out in the jail, but also being able to teach it to the people I was in there with.
Right.
And they was able to learn like, oh, yeah, we got some work to do.
That is really awesome.
You know?
But you know what? See, that's really a great story because you, by what you were doing, it taught you something, but then you were a blessing where you had to go and God had a purpose for you.
Exactly.
There was a purpose
So
for
it
you
might
to be there.
The way it escalated for a reason.
Yes.
Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be that it escalated for a reason. Sometimes God, that's how it works.
Yes.
Just recently, I was reading something. I get it's called The Messenger, but it's a Franciscan paper, Catholic. And I went to Catholic schools, and I used to work actually at The Messenger a long time ago in Cincinnati. But I get it, and they're talking about changing the words to the Lord's Prayer. And which is good because, of course, the King James Version and a lot of versions, they misinterpret the Hebrew that was used. Hebrew is a funny language. Sometimes one word can mean 5 different things.
Yes.
It's the tense that the way you use it.
Yes.
That gives the meaning.
Absolutely.
And so there's, when it goes in the Lord's Prayer about leading me into temptation.
Okay.
And, like God leads you into temptation.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and they were arguing about that with the Catholics, and they would say, well, he doesn't lead you into temptation. That word that was used, it does mean temptation.
Yeah.
But
It's
it
a
also
test.
means testing.
Testing.
It
That's what
also
I get from
means
it. Testing.
trials.
Yes.
That he does that lead you into trials and testing to make you better or
Yes.
a blessing
Yes.
to others.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Which is proof that there is a God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So not only by you being in there, you learned something, you shared what you was learning right there, and then how many of those individuals that was in there, you saved so many lives.
Possibly all that
You
matters
know,
was planting the seed.
Yeah, planting that seed, and that's so
Letting it
important.
grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's their job to let it grow.
Exactly.
Yeah, you did what you were
planted the
supposed to
seed.
do.
Yeah,
Now it was up to the individual
Exactly.
to take heed. Because I know a lot of times, I've never been to prison, thank God, but I know the people going to prison and maybe even serving doing a long time.
Yeah.
And when they're in there, it's amazing how they find God
Yeah.
and they want to turn their life around and they come back out here into society and they do it only for a short span and then they're right back at what they used to do.
Yeah, and typically, let's use that example, but let's make it a little bit more like, edible for everybody to eat it, so it's not really on a negative connotation of jail. Let's think about it like this, right? So I'm gonna use fitness, right? So,
Okay.
You have people who want to be in shape, right?
Yeah.
And so they will start a routine, right? Start a routine, do good, and maybe the first time they get through it, they lose the weight, they get all the stuff that they wanted out of the workout, right?
And then they stop.
And then what happens? They stop, right?
stop.
And then what happens? They gain the weight.
They gained the weight back, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So essentially what happens is
That's life.
everybody, right, it's crazy. Essentially what happens is you get comfortable or you get distracted. And you got to know yourself to know the difference between you being comfortable or being distracted. Because a distraction literally doesn't have to be an obvious distraction. A distraction could be anything. It could be a child. It could be your wife. It could be a husband. It could be anybody close to you. It could be anybody that...
Anything that throws you off that
Exactly.
path or situation.
It's a lot, but the in my opinion, from my perspective of what I've been through, the true enemy, and this is what I got when I was in jail.
Is you?
Like, exactly, it's me. Like, when you say enemy slow, like, we talk about words, right? When you say enemy slow, like, say that. Enemy.
Ender me.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
Right.
Yes.
So the enemy that you face every single day that you wake up or go to sleep.
Yes.
It's you.
Yes.
That's the only one you deal with the whole time. You know how relationships are?
Yeah.
I had these conversations with my wife all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's literally, it's not me doing it to you and it's not you doing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's me doing it to myself
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have enough discipline over my mindset or my thoughts. So I'm my own enemy. I'm creating a thought, not that you placed in my head. It's a thought that I'm creating, and then I'm speaking it and thinking about it so much that it manifests itself.
Exactly.
That's crazy, right?
No.
A lot. I mean, sometimes it's crazy you explain it.
Like you said, that word comes from enemy, comes from German or Old Viking and Celtic, and exactly is what they're.
That's what it. See, that's what I was paying attention to. That's
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing you just pointed out.
Exactly. I
You
mean,
know,
it's
and God used what to create what. So you're right.
yeah, and that's really
Distraction.
yeah, exactly, and that's the battle. That battle happens every day, no matter what category or whatever you're in. That battle is every day. I don't care. If somebody can trick me, or they can try to trick me all they want to say that's not the battle. That's the battle every day.
Yeah.
The battle every day is with yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being disciplined enough to not go to sleep until you happy, until you're balanced. Being disciplined enough to wake up happy and focus on something positive and not negative.
Yes.
Being disciplined enough to find the good even though there's bad.
And you know what? And even being disciplined to sometimes, because our mind is always going.
Yeah.
And if you just practice just 5 minutes of the day to just shut that mind down, take no thought, just quiet the mind and take no thought, you know, you make and hear.
Exactly. You will.
You know, because all the distraction, you know, sometimes we have to cut away from the television. Even when we get in our car, you know, like I had a car that I used to drive, the radio was broke. I got so used to not having any music, it was relaxing and quiet time for me. So that when I got a car that had a radio, I still didn't cut it on. Because when I got off at work at night, that was like my time for me and God. I made it through the day. So now I want to just give him thanks and about the day and then just quiet.
Exactly.
Because so much has gone on through the day. You know, I talk for a living.
Absolutely.
You know, so I deal with so many different situations, and
Right.
we hear so many different stories at our job, you know. And when you're talking about you're doing this for 8 to 10 hour day, you need to find some downtime.
Exactly. You got
That's
to.
time. So your whole premise for your training is more like the physical, but it's also the spiritual, and it's
And
also the mental.
Absolutely, you got it. It's all three, all embodied, and you know, this is no diss to any trainer that's out there. Every trainer knows this,
Right.
but when you actually put like a focus on that, not just helping somebody to get in shape, but really help them to look more inside of themselves and face themselves and know self.
And discover self.
And discover self, exactly. When you do that through fitness, because the fitness part is only the physical realm that we deal with.
Right.
The fitness part is the physical realm we deal with. The spiritual part is the part that we dealing with within God looking at us, being happy and not seeing no wrong. But we gotta accept that spirit. We have to accept the fact that we're not wrong, we're not bad. He doesn't look at us like that.
Right.
We create the own issue. That's the battle.
Right.
So that's the battle, is that mental portion. The spirit and the physical is always, you can set yourself up where that's working together. The true battle in between those two is the mental part, because that part is the part that forms all the deceptiveness that you would get from the outside world, right?
Right.
And you take those in, and you like, you see, like for instance, you see a bill come, right? You know you got a job,
Right.
but you see a bill come, you're like, oh, I'm tired of these bills coming, right? Instead of looking at it like, okay,
Thank God I have the money to pay it.
Exactly.
And that's what,
And
you know
then-
what, turning
there
it
you go.
around.
Exactly.
And I give thanks now. I don't look at it as a bill. I know this, I have to have this to function today, to have lights on. So thank you, Lord, that I've got the money to pay for it. You know,
Exactly.
that's where I'm at today. Not as a
Absolutely.
negative thing. Yeah.
Or even a difficult one. I'm gonna talk about a more difficult one. Relationships, right?
Yes.
Most difficult situation that you have to battle with on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't matter if it's husband, wife, father, son, mother, daughter, whatever the case may be, right? Relationships is very, very tough. You want to know why? It's very tough because, and I'm really getting my revelation, like literally, like beginning of this year, I got my revelation with this, and
Okay.
I'm really getting way more disciplined and way more understanding about this stuff. In relationships, and we could just talk about like relationships between intimate partners as well. We tend to think that because we decide to be together and this and that and third, you're supposed to do what I'm telling you to do, right? Sort of almost society taught us that, right? But in
Right.
actuality, everybody is literally deciding to be together and deciding to work this out. And then usually the conflict happens when you two don't decide on the same thing, right? And then if you cannot come up with a solution and find a way to be able to coexist and be happily together again on the right frequency, what happens is the conflict happens, and then what happens when relationships go into a conflict mode? Instead of working it out with each other, what you do? You start looking outside.
Yeah.
You start getting everybody else's opinion.
Yeah.
You start looking at these books and you start looking at this and it's like, oh, okay. Like, and then you try to come back with all this knowledge, right? And then you try to spew all that on your partner. And then your partner's like, okay, but I don't agree with that. Now what you do? You can't control them.
Right.
So the person who you got focused on in that situation is what?
Yourself.
Self. Exactly. So you think about the conflict and you think about what's going on, and then you think about, okay, what is it that I could do with me to remain in a realm of loving and understanding and not judging you and not pointing the finger and not saying it's your fault and this and the third. What can I look at in me to be able to continue to love you even though you're going through this riff?
But do you know what? That's what love is.
That's what love is.
Love is no judgment.
Exactly.
Okay? Love is no judgment.
Exactly.
And if once we can get that, I think the world itself would be such a better place, even just within yourself,
Absolutely.
learning that.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because, again, program.
Exactly. You got it.
You know, society, the world programs you to do this judgment thing,
Exactly.
or speak negative things into your life. You know,
Exactly.
it's
Yep.
just like a baby, a newborn baby. I hear people say, "Oh, the baby's crying," but they'll say, "Oh, he's gonna be a mean baby. He's gonna have a bad temper." That baby's crying. Why does he have to have why is he going to be mean or a bad temper?
Right.
What do you get from that?
That's the only way
You know, but the parents are speaking this over this newborn baby
Right.
because he's crying.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be that.
It doesn't.
And
Right.
we are not taught how powerful our words are.
I think we are. It's just that we don't
practice it.
practice it.
But then also, again, we don't hear enough of it.
You don't hear enough. Well, you hear enough of it every Sunday.
Well,
or
but do
whatever,
you
but
practice it?
I think it's the way it's being said.
Okay, come on in here, Larry.
John, just clarify something. What do you hear every Sunday? Because I may have heard you incorrectly.
You hear it every Sunday if you go to church.
What?
You hear
No.
the word,
Okay.
and the word is saying that.
All right.
The word tells you, does it not?
Okay.
To let God be your will, right? They put it aside. It
What-
tells you
Put what aside?
that love your will
Okay.
aside. When you accept Christ, you're taking His will,
Okay. All right.
which is what?
You have to love unconditionally.
And your neighbor,
You have to love and respect your neighbor.
and you also have to do what?
Love yourself.
Love yourself.
We hear it all the time.
Right.
We just don't do it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, and even adding on to that, I mean, it's not really their responsibility.
No, it's
It's
not.
It's not the pastor's
His
responsibility. Like,
responsibility is to plant the seed. It's you to grow
Exactly.
it in that
Right.
relationship.
and the thing about it is this: that contrast and that conflict is gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. But the battle is, how do you look at the contrast and conflict? Are you
Exactly.
looking at it as it's something? What is it about the pressure with the diamonds and the coal? You put that pressure on that coal, right? It turns into what? A diamond.
diamond.
Exactly. So it's just learning all of the tools that you already have readily made available, but then organizing them in a way where it's utilized or useful for you. So what may be useful for you may not be useful for
Someone else, right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right.
you got to figure this out for self. And so that's the other thing too. Isaiah said, "What? My words don't return void." And so, but you got to understand
Right.
why the words don't return void.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so that understanding is where the disconnect is at. You can hear it all the time, but if you don't have the understanding of the meaning,
Right,
you're
right.
gonna always miss that blessing that's within that small.
Yes.
You know, and then also with love thy neighbor, right? Well, how can you love thy neighbor if you don't love thyself?
Exactly.
And so once again, you gotta have love for self and understanding of self in order to
Self.
love thy neighbor, right?
Yes.
And that's what goes in relationships too, right? Like none of us can't judge at all in a relationship. Like I can't point my finger at you, or
Right.
she can't point my finger at me. But what I can do is love everything good. So that way, I'm always constantly showing love and never showing negativity or showing any type of like talking down or anything like that. I'm always showing love unconditionally, not
Yes.
conditionally,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And that's literally being on Christ-like path.
And you know that
Literally.
itself
Literally.
is it shouldn't be called work, but it is something
It
that
is a work.
you should practice
Absolutely.
so that you get better and better at it. And like you said, when you get upset, when you're upset, something takes you out of your comfort zone, or you get really angry about something, but know that you're angry enough to say, okay, I'm going to pull it back and not say anything. I'm not going to react until let me calm down before I make a decision
Take a
or
deep breath.
open
And,
open
say
my
a quick
mouth.
prayer.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's just
And look within.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
there's so many. Nowadays, there's so many tools, and it's really just understanding self. What is it like? For some people, it's music. For some people, it's a movie. For some people, it's a book. For some people, it's going outside and looking at kids play. I mean, it's so many different tools. God is everywhere, right? So
Yes.
you might as well just use God like to get happy.
Yes.
But you gotta change your perspective from what you don't like to what you do like.
Yeah.
And you stay consistent and persistent every day, and what happens? You become better, you evolve, you become a divine person.
Yeah.
You know?
Take us through when you're doing personal training. I know everybody's different.
Oh, yeah.
But is there a general template?
Yeah,
you
there
use
is.
to combine.
Yes, there's definitely a template. And it changes like as you move, because everybody evolves differently, right?
Okay.
Everybody handles pressure differently. So the template is this. When you look in the mirror, this is first.
Right.
Can you stare directly into your eyes longer than 10 seconds? And are you aware that you're capable of doing that?
Okay.
That's the first question. Typically, the answer that I get is no. I don't stare at my eyes.
I
I'm
never-
looking at everything else except-
Around you.
Exactly. So that's your first meeting. Like when you go into the bathroom and you're going to wash your face, brush your teeth, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Your first meeting is with self.
Yes.
So how do you treat self when you first see self in the morning? That's the question.
Yeah.
And so from there, I automatically would know what type of person I'm dealing with. My next question beyond that is that while you're spending time in that mirror, do you or can you say 10 positive, truthful things that you believe to your own self?
Wow.
It's deep.
That is so deep. You know what you just said, man? My daughter told me this the other day. She said, Mommy, she says, I want us, before we leave out of this house every day, I want you to give 10 good things. Speak 10 things.
Affirmations.
10 things, I don't know, whatever it is. Speak 10 good things. And it's just so that you've said that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So confirmation on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. She just told me that.
See? And so and then the last part, which is most important, what's your purpose? What's your reason? Like why do you want to go on this journey and why do you want to work out? Because if it's just to get somebody to look at you and say, oh, you sexy or you look good,
Right.
or this and the third, then you looking outside of yourself. You're not really working
Looking
on yourself.
inside
Exactly.
yourself.
So you gotta want to do it for self, not just because you want somebody else's attention.
Right.
Because this is the other thing that we don't realize when it comes to relationships as well, right? No matter what, when you're in a relationship, that person, if you don't have love for self and you put that person in that void where you depend on them to love you so you can feel complete, they're gonna always fail you because they can't be there forever. They're either gonna leave by circumstance or they're gonna leave by death.
By nature. Yeah.
So at the end, or by nature, I'm sorry, I don't want to say death,
Right.
But at the end of the day, either way, you're left with who? You. So that right there is an indicator that you definitely gotta have love for self. It's important. I'm not saying you can't mourn somebody.
True.
I'm not saying you can't feel bad about the breakup or whatever. But the main thing that needs to be in contact or intact is love for self.
Yeah.
And every move and every decision that you make gotta have a purpose and a meaning, so that way you will stay consistent and you will stay persistent and you will not quit when it gets hard and when the pressure is on, and you will not beat yourself up when you do something bad or you eat a cake or some cookies or whatever the case may be in any situation.
Right.
You cheat
Right.
or something like that
Right.
or whatever. You won't feel so bad because you're coming back to the situation with love of self to be able to forgive. That's the only way you can throw it in the sea of forgiveness.
Yes.
You got to throw it in there.
Yeah.
It's already been forgiven.
Yeah.
Right?
But you've got to know how to forgive
You
and
gotta
let
know
it
how to
go.
forgive yourself.
And let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
And so where does that come back to? It comes back to that battle with the mind.
That's right. Amen.
Excellent. Yes.
So it's going to always be a constant reoccurring event until you recognize what reoccurring events is going on, and then you decide at that moment, like, you know what? I'm going to fight through the part that I always keep on wanting to be comfortable about, or I always run away from.
Right.
And this is the part that probably the most, in my opinion, is probably the most disturbing, right? When you have that one person, like you in your conflict, your situation, right? And it happens all the time. But you have one person that you've met or you're with or whatever, they will not give up on you. They will not quit. You could have done the worst thing ever, but they constantly is telling you, look, I love you for you. I don't care what you've done. I love you for you. I want to work this out. I want to get through this. Let's get through this together. Let's fight together. Let's face these issues together.
And that's powerful.
And that's my approach in
Yeah.
fitness, because
Right.
it's like, that's what personal training really is about. Because we live in the age of information. You can go online and figure out how to work out. You can go online how to
Yeah.
you can do this stuff.
Yeah, you can do this,
But the
but
whole purpose of the personal training is personal training to become a complete self. That's how I look at it.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? And so let me help you overcome an obstacle that you would usually give up on. Let me help you. Let me speak some life into you that you usually wouldn't speak. Or let me show you how to speak life into yourself. And just do it consistently, no matter what. I don't care if you made a mistake and got drunk. I don't care what it is.
Right.
Do it. I don't
Do
care
it.
if it's for 5 seconds. Do it. You still did it. You still can say I did it every day.
Yeah.
Do it
Yeah.
every day. Treat every day like it's a week, not a day. Treat every hour or something. You know, like, just try to trick yourself into thinking that each day is a moment to create something great. And then you got something good to look forward to the next day. And then before you know it, all the pain, all the tears, all the everything that you struggle with, when you finally get to that point, you're going to look up and you're going to be like, wow, I am in shape, but it's more than just about being in shape. I feel complete inside and out. I can't be broke.
that's
Now you
awesome.
believe you can take on and take care of anything and everything. And you know what you do after that? You help the next person get through the same thing that you got through.
I love it.
That's
See what I'm saying?
I love it. And you know what? I would love to get involved and have you as a personal trainer because, it's the beginning of the year. We all join
Absolutely.
these clubs. And how long do we really go? And, we get into it and then we fall off.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah, I get
I've
it.
never had, and I had some trainers before that really got me to where I needed to go and pushed me,
Yeah.
and worked me hard, but never one to speak to the mind as the workout.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really great. I like it.
Yeah, it's just all about looking at your position and where you at, and you take pressure.
Body
Honestly, you
and
take
soul.
you take pressure off of the real talk. You take pressure off of pastors when you do this. You want to know why? Because you literally are learning and taking the tools to be able to do it yourself.
Yes.
And that's really where the training is at. Like, I'm training you to be able to keep your own self in shape. Not so you can keep on coming back to me and keep paying me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So you can take it and get it and move on and be able
got
to
it.
help someone
And you
else.
can add on to it however which way you want to, but you got your foundation. You got it.
I love it.
That's really where it's at. That's
the beginning.
That's the beginning, but it's the foundation though. It's just the foundation. And once that foundation is solid, you can build anything on there. And know that you can build it on there because it's gonna stick. It's gonna stay. It's not gonna sink. It's not gonna fall. Whatever.
Solid as a rock.
You know it. You
But
know
that
it.
is true. That is so
That's
true.
in my time frame.
But yeah.
So how do if one want to get in touch with you and have you as their personal trainer, how can they reach you?
So right now I'm just working through Instagram, and so on my Instagram is no_comfort_zone_, and the picture that would come up would be a picture of me,
Okay.
and I'm like flexing on my back with my hands up like this.
Okay.
All right, it's like
Okay.
I was like in the winter
Right.
position.
Right.
And on there, I post all type of motivational videos. I post workouts. I post everything I can to help people, kind of look at things from a different point of view.
I know you were
From
telling
the
me.
perspective, they-
Oh, did you want to say? I know you
No,
were.
I wanted to, you should repeat that one more time.
Oh,
no
yeah,
problem.
okay.
So once again, for Instagram is no_comfort_zone_,
Okay.
and it's a picture of me in a position with my back.
And that's for the one business.
Yes, that's for no comfort zone. Absolutely.
Now the other one, I know you'd say you go out and you do speaking engagement, motivation speaking.
Yep.
Let's talk about that because this has all been very motivating of what you're talking about with the workout.
Absolutely. So I've been a part of like some different summer programs at my alma mater at Shaker Heights. I've spoken at Maple Heights before. I've spoken to I used to work for Raw Talent Sports. The CEO for that company is Mark Harris.
Yeah.
And he actually trains like the local area athletes and help them to get into college, but also help them pursue their professional dreams as well. And so one of the ones that we know right now, Denzel Ward, he trained and he helped him to get in the league. And look at where Denzel Ward is at. He's on the Browns. He's balling out. I think he's like
Yeah.
rookie or something on the team. I mean,
Rookie
he's
of the
doing
year.
Oh, okay.
He's like really in there for rookie of the year.
Right, and so those are the speaking engagements that I've had where I was able to, sprinkle those seeds and just talk to kids and just like give them my experiences and my struggles and stuff like that. And so just to be able to get in contact with me just for motivational speaking, once again, it would still be through Instagram. It's not really hard. I just want to make it one thing.
Okay.
One thing, just reach me there because that's where I'm posting most of my stuff. When I expand,
Even the artist stuff, the
even
videography.
oh yeah,
photography.
Oh, yeah. So with the videography and photography, I'm going in a new direction with that because at first it was I was looking at it in terms of service, but now I'm more looking at it in terms of expression.
Okay.
How can I make it where it can be a product for someone, but it captures the expression of what they would love to look at every day, as far as inspiration and motivation is concerned.
Okay, so it's sort of like artistic
Yes, more artistic.
mixed with actually a service.
Absolutely, you got it.
Because I know, like my daughter, she's put together her treasure map, and this is what she focuses on, her daily.
Absolutely.
And her cousins, they have sat down and they meet weekly to work on their treasure map.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So, I mean, anybody who want to reach me for that, for that type of
Yeah.
service would be, the number is 216-307-4991, and the company is Trestle Board Company.
Okay, give it to them one more time.
One more time.
Okay,
one
give
more
it-
again. One more again.
And give it to them one more time.
One
Give it
more
to me.
time. So for Trestle Board, for the artistic services and expression, is the number is 216-307-4991, and the company name is Trestle Board.
Trestle board.
Trestle
So
board.
when you as the service, what services with the videography and the pictures, like weddings, retirements.
So yeah, so
Kids.
it encompasses it encompasses all of that. But what I've been focusing on as of recently is music videos, weddings, and any type of event. So it could be like a speaking event or a birthday event,
Okay.
or a retirement event, something like that. You
Okay.
know, because obviously during those events, you know, it's a lot of emotion and expression
Yes.
going on, right?
Right.
Including weddings as well.
And
But,
give
you know,
them
yeah.
something to look back
Absolutely,
at. Yeah.
absolutely. It's just capturing the moment and just being able to capture the positivity and everything.
Because that's the way you were, you know, being more artistic and something that they can keep on and see. Okay, that was
Exactly.
happy.
Same thing with pictures. Is you know, you can take a picture of yourself and then alter it and turn it into something that you want to become.
Yes. Yes.
There's no limit on that.
Yeah, pictures is
Absolutely not.
pictures are very powerful. You know, speaking of pictures, like I have a picture of my great niece. I love her so much. The kid just brings instant joy, you know. And it's like if I need to go to a happy place at work, I can look over there on the wall and I'll instantly get a smile. You know, it makes me smile and take away what it was.
That's
so
awesome.
you know, it's really good.
That's awesome.
You know, my daughter, sometimes she could hear something in my voice and I may be in that kind of moment and she'll say, Tom and Brazier. And she know when you say Tom and Brazier to me, I just instantly glow because he was like an old boss of mine at WDOK Radio.
Right.
And I just love me some Tom and Brazier. That man there, you know, oh my God. Okay, so let me just stop.
I'm like, okay,
You know, so I mean, you know, things like
It's
that.
your
you know.
happy place.
I mean, and we all need to have a happy place.
You
have to have a
Absolutely.
happy place.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer that you gotta have something.
You know, maybe I think I got a new name for John now.
What's that?
How about
Tom and Brazier. Oh, now it's a happy place.
No, that's her happy place.
That's my thrill.
My happy place.
Two birds with one stone. They both be all happy.
Yeah. Tom and Brazier.
Her happy place.
Okay, John.
So tell me, how long have you been doing what you've been doing?
All right, so when it comes to photography and videography, I've been doing it over 13 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm pretty well versed in it, and I never look at it as because there's other artists that I know around here as well that are photographers and videographers, and I
Yeah.
work with them too. And it's not about, in my opinion, it's not about who's better.
Right.
It's just about, you know, are you able to capture the expression, the moment, and that's really what it's about. So congratulate that person.
Yeah.
Because obviously, when you do something good, you will want them to congratulate you, right?
Yes.
And so it's tough. That's another thing, you know, talking about jealousy or whatever. A lot of that stuff dealing with self. It's tough to congratulate somebody else when you feel like you should be there, or you feel like you deserve that based upon what you put in. But
Right.
in all actuality, did you really put in the effort and the work and the
Right.
consistency and
And
the
it's looking at-
persistence? You know what I'm saying?
looking
That
inside.
exactly. Because sometimes you can look at somebody's success and just not know what they went through, or not know what they're struggling with.
through, or
Right.
what they
Exactly.
put into it.
Exactly what they put into it to be able to shine right there in that position.
Right.
So that's that once again that comes back to knowing self.
Knowing
Being real with
self and knowing that you can too once you learn self and know
Absolutely.
what it is that you're here to do.
Absolutely.
You
That's
know,
the thing.
because we all are here. We all have a role to play.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just knowing what God wants you to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
Always he asks for it. You know.
Exactly. And the only way to know what it is that God has for you, literally, gotta quiet this. Gotta
Yes.
get that enemy out the way.
Yes.
Gotta get it out the way.
You
That's
hear
the only-
that?
Like it's crazy. You can't pour anything extra in the cup if it's something already in there.
Right.
You can't be filled up with anything good if it's something already in there that you refuse to let go of.
Yes.
So you always got to make room to be filled up with something good and extra all the time, even if it's a little drop.
Yeah.
Gotta accept it.
It's one of what is that? I remember David song. One of his songs, I think it is 23. I'm not sure. When he talks, "My cup runneth over."
Yes, absolutely.
I always thought that's what he was talking about. That God filled him up with him, so he doesn't
He doesn't need anything else.
He doesn't need anything else.
Exactly. But when did he say that?
And he was going through some hard times when he that song. He was going some real hard times.
Exactly. Most of the time when we get the good word is from when somebody is struggling or they overcame a struggle.
He was going through some hard struggles at that point.
That's where, like,
He was.
Think about Job.
Yeah.
He was going through in the midst of what he was going through. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. And he stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's and all of those are really examples of what we go through on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
You
Moving the
can't
enemy.
really exactly. You can't really measure the struggle for anybody because the feeling of the struggle is what's the same. Like you could be struggling with working out and feel the same struggle that somebody feel with domestic violence.
Right.
It's the feeling doesn't really have the this is worse than what you going. No, if you feel the same thing I feel, it's the same. How do you overcome it is where the work is at.
Right.
Some things are easier than others, but once again, that still depends on the person, and everybody is different.
Yes.
But everybody got to know that they always have access to God.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yes.
It's always there. You
Yeah.
just gotta have faith and know and be able to see. And
Yes.
sometimes that means sitting still. and
Sitting
being
still.
uncomfortable.
Yes. And being uncomfortable is something that is good.
Absolutely. Conflict is good. Contrast is good. Because how else would you know what's good from bad if you didn't have bad or good?
Yeah.
You wouldn't know the difference.
mean-
And then
Sway the world is bad.
realistically, there's really nothing bad. It's because
just contrast.
it's
That's
because
all
it's
it is.
just
It's
it's still
contrast.
something good in the bad.
Exactly. It's
You know.
contrast.
I mean,
Contrast.
we all are particles, right? It's an atom, right? And the atom got what going around it? A neutron and a proton. Negative, positive.
Can't
Yes.
have one without the other.
Right. So it goes together.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, this is just awesome, and I'm so glad that you came on and to share your experience, and to know that see, people, you're not alone. You know, we all are going through this, and at different times and different phases of our life. But never be afraid to step outside the box.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And for this first month, this is, hey, take advantage. Instagram, if you're, thinking about and you made that resolution to lose weight or get in shape,
Yes.
get the whole getting in shape, mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
hey,
Take the
look at it.
journey.
Yes.
Take a look.
Take the journey. You
'Cause
gotta
it's-
go on the journey anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And it's more than just this physical stuff
Exactly.
here. If you don't have the inner spiritual, but having the physical, what good is it?
Exactly.
You
Get out of
know?
that comfort zone.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Step outside that box and call. Give your number again.
Once again, it's 216-307-4991 for Trusted Board. And for Instagram, it's no_comfort_zone_. It's a picture of me and
comfort
a
zone.
All right.
Got it.
Yes. Is your you have family?
Yes.
You have
yeah.
children?
I have a son. His name is Isaiah. Actually, to add on to this real fast. I know this is a difficult topic for some men, but currently, right now, my child's mother got married, and she has another man raising my son. Of course, I want to be there because you know how that conflict goes.
Right.
So what I did was I had to get over myself, from talking to toxic people, or just talking or just listening to my toxic thoughts, and just basically think about it from a standpoint of this. And also, my mentor, Gregory Moore, he actually told me about this as well. He gave me his perspective on this because I had to ask him. I said, how do you feel about another man raising your child, right? And he said, I feel blessed because that man really doesn't have to do that. And he was like, if it's a good man, now I don't have to worry about my son or daughter getting into any trouble or any danger. You see what I'm saying? And so when he talked to me about that, it literally switched my perspective about my situation with my son and how I felt like my child's mother may be keeping him away from me and all this other stuff. It switched my whole perspective. So what I did was I took an old picture that when me and her was in a conflict, contrast, right? I took an old picture that she sent me of her, him, and my son in the back seat, and I put it up on Facebook, and then I wrote this long message saying, shout out to, my
The
child's
gentleman.
mother and her husband for taking care of my son, especially her husband, because he doesn't have to do it. And even though he knows I'm there and he knows what's going on, like, he does not have to raise my son, but he's choosing to take that work and like take
that
care
role,
of it. And that role, that role, and take care of it. And it's like, that's giving me a chance to take care of what I need to take care of and be right for my son too. And
Exactly.
it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not there for him.
Right.
That was my battle with myself, thinking that I'm not with him. I'm not going. He's going to go through the same thing I went through. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm putting fear in my own mind. I'm putting negativity in my own mind. So what happens? You follow suit with what you think about the most, right?
Right.
And it manifests, right?
Right.
So I created all of that. I created that distance, that separation. So I had to come back and just say, you know what? I appreciate you. I show you love. And we actually talked on the phone not too long ago. And now it's moving in a direction where I can sit down with them and schedule stuff and get back
That's
to my
good.
son,
That's
you know?
good.
And be a guy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. So
That's
it's-
good.
And and same thing. Like, I mean, to everybody who's in a relationship but they struggling, I'm sorry, I don't want to take all the time. I just want
No.
I gotta make sure I send these seeds out, because this is my storm that I'm coming out of.
Right.
So to everybody who's having issues with relationships and stuff, like, I don't care how bad it is. I don't care what the other person did. Like, when you love somebody genuinely for who they are, right? None of that stuff that they did matters, because it's the same thing with kids, right? Kids do stuff. If you're
Right.
a parent, right, and they do some stuff that make you
Right.
like, what's going on? I want to disown you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but outside of that, the key to this thing is this. You got to really pay attention to self and not judge at all. You gotta love the person for who they are, the essence of who they are.
Yes.
Because you come from that very same essence. So there's no point of speaking words, right?
Right.
There's no point of speaking negativity over the matter. There's no point of repeating and constantly saying this over and over again, which was my mistake in some of the issues that I've had. Mostly focus on what is good now, what makes you happy now, where is it that you can put all your energy that's positive now, in that moment.
Right.
And keep doing it over and over again consistently until it becomes like what?
Water or like air. Like
Exactly,
breathing air.
like water, until it becomes automatic.
Yes.
And my last thing, I apologize.
Oh, no.
My
You're good.
last thing.
Okay.
I believe water is probably the best example or the best sign of how magnificent God is. I'm gonna tell you why. You can speak into water, right? And this has been proven.
Yes.
You can speak into water, positive words and negative words. And if you freeze it, it will show what the effect of your words were. You know what I'm saying? Also, think about this. Water has 3 different types of forms, right? It has liquid, solid, and gas. Now, within that, based on your vibration, based on how you feel about self, right? If you're upset and mad, what happens? You get hot, right? So you turn it into a gas. You know what I'm saying? You turn it into a gas. What is gas good for? Blowing up stuff, keeping stuff hot, boiling water.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And then you got water, right? But with water, think about it, like, water can put out fire.
Yeah.
Water can also crash and destroy things too.
Yes.
Right? And then you
Yes.
got the solid as well. What does solid do? Keep your drinks cold.
Yes.
Keep the Arctic cold so we not flooded in the whole earth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it can also do what?
Flood the
It
order.
can flood the water, right? It can take down the Titanic. It can
Right.
like, everything has a good and a bad side.
Yes.
But
Okay.
That element covers everything.
That's awesome. Well, listen,
Well,
you know what? We
let's hope our
really.
government officials in Washington, both Republican and Democrat, and our president, get something out of that.
Yeah, we see.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure, and we've enjoyed you on What's Going On with Lady D and Sir John Show. And we are the home of the what?
25-cent advertisement.
All right. So if you want to be on our show and you're doing something wonderful, let's make it happen. Call 216
Or call in
571
just to advertise.
2235. We're always here for you. See you next Sunday.